Hello, it's February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2021, and our lesson for today, lesson 45, God is the mind with which I think. Yesterday was God is the light in which I see. God is the mind with which I think. Before we read it, I want to show you this orchid that I got from my girlfriend Jessica. And I just thought it was such a pretty little flower. And they say it'll bloom several times through the year. And it said, give it only 3 ice cubes of water at 3 ice or a quarter cup. They didn't once a week. I expect that would depend on how dry of an environment. But I guess I'm going to learn a little bit about orchids. And I looked at the way these leaves go. Look at the way those leaves would catch all the water and funnel it right down into the center of the plant. Just pretty amazing to me. It really, and I want to mention something about relationships since today's February 14th. It's in relationship is where we have our greatest opportunities to learn how to love ourselves. Because we start seeing that the way that we treat our partner is the way we treat ourselves, and vice versa. The way we treat ourselves is the way we treat our partner. There is no separation between us, and it comes close to being seen in a relationship. So this is the way the Course in Miracles says that we're to practice our lessons, is to apply them to those around us. And there's lots of ways to reach enlightenment. There's the path of the yogi who sits in a cave. There's the path of the renunciate who turns his back on this world. And there's a number of ways. Bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. And anyway, there's a number of paths. But the way that we're using it in Course in Miracles is in relationship. And we're learning that as we love our neighbor, we love ourselves, and that there's only one of us. One of my favorite sayings, there's only one of us. So next time you see yourself not liking something that someone's doing, and you find yourself getting upset, turn your attention within and recognize that there's just one of us. There's no separation, no fences between us, no space between us. Okay, let's do our lesson. God is the mind with which I think. Today's idea holds the key to what your real thoughts are. They are nothing that you think, just as nothing that you think you see is related to vision in any way. There is no relationship between what is real and what you think is real. Nothing that you think are your real thoughts resemble your real thoughts in any respect. Nothing that you think you see bears any resemblance to what vision will show you. That's some pretty strong statements. So I guess we're on a journey to find our real thoughts. Paragraph 2. You think with the mind of God. Therefore, you share your thoughts with him, as he shares his with you. They are the same thoughts because they are thought by the same mind. To share is to make alike, or to make one. Nor do the thoughts you think with the mind of God leave your mind, because thoughts do not leave their source. Therefore, your thoughts are in the mind of God as you are. They are in your mind as well, where he is. As you are part of his mind, so are your thoughts part of his thoughts. Paragraph 3. Where then are your real thoughts? Today we will attempt to reach them. We will have to look for them in your mind because that is where they are. They must still be there because they cannot have left. What is thought by the mind of God is eternal, being part of creation. 4. Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea. We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real. We will deny the world in favor of truth. We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back, and we will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what God would have us do is impossible. 5. Instead, we will try to recognize that only what God would have us do is possible. Whoa, only what God would have us do is possible. Everything else is an illusion. So if your perception has anything to do with the possibility of death, decay, sickness, weakness, fear, any of those thoughts, which pretty much make up a lot of the world that most of us are seeing all the time, you're not even seeing what's possible. You're seeing what is impossible. We will also try to understand that only what God would have us do is what we want to do. Ooh, I like that. We will also try to remember that we cannot fail in doing what He would have us do. We cannot fail. In truth, we're already doing it. There is every reason to feel confident that you will succeed today. It is the will of God. We're trying to perfect our illusory thoughts, bring them up to the point where they're at least not discordant with truth, so that the truth can just bleed over into our mind. Paragraph 6. Begin the exercises for today by repeating the idea to yourself, closing your eyes as you do so. Spend a fairly short period in thinking a few relative thoughts of your own, keeping the idea in mind as you do so. After you have added some 4 or 5 thoughts of your own, repeat the idea again and tell yourself gently, my real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them. My real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them. A good thing to find, your real thoughts. Then try to go past all the unreal thoughts that cover the truth in your mind and reach to the eternal. So go past all those thoughts that have to do with fear and death and decay and sickness, and recognize the eternal that's always ever present. 9. Under all the senseless thoughts and mad ideas with which you have cluttered up your mind are the thoughts which you thought with God in the beginning. They are there in your mind now, completely unchanged. They will always be in your mind, exactly as they always were. Changeless. 10. Everything that you have thought since then will change, but the foundation on which they rest is wholly changeless. It is the foundation to which the exercises for today are directed. Here is your mind joined with the mind of God. Here are your thoughts, one with His. Paragraph 11. For this kind of practice, only one thing is necessary. Approach it as you would an altar dedicated in heaven itself to God the Father and God the Son. For such is the place you're trying to reach. You will probably be unable yet to realize how high you're trying to go. Yet even with the little understanding you have already gained, you should be able to remind yourself that this is no idle game, but an exercise in holiness and an attempt to reach the kingdom of God. What? Only one thing is necessary? Approach it as you would an altar dedicated in heaven itself to God the Father and God the Son. And paragraph 12, the last one. In using the shorter form for applying today's idea, God is in the mind with which I think, try to remember how important it is to you to understand the holiness of the mind that thinks with God. Take a minute or two as you repeat the idea throughout the day to appreciate your mind's holiness. Stand aside, however briefly, from all thoughts that are unworthy of Him whose host you are, and thank Him for the thoughts He is thinking with you. God is in the mind with which I think. So we'll let all of creation teach us just how lovely He is. Things like this orchid can kind of remind us how lovely God is, and those people that we love, how much that they are the very part of God also, and that we're seeing God every moment of the day, and we can give thanks. Until tomorrow, you guys remember, God is in the mind with which I think.